spoke out, and he appeared on Fubu Sports Network, Fubu, and he was discussing his new book, Letters to a Young Athlete. And they were talking about the Brooklyn Nets big three, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and they was comparing that big three to the Miami Heat big three in their prime, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. And Chris Bosh, didn't give, any kind of endorsement for his big three. He said the Nets big three in their prime would beat the Miami Heat in their prime. So, this is Chris Bosh. He said, quote, "I'm going to give the nod to them," Bosh said. "I could score pretty good, and I'll go out there and compete. But, they can do things I've never seen." This was Chris Bosh on the Nets big three. So, this got us to thinking. And give us your opinion. Anybody watching the show tonight, everybody remember go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Follow us on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Give us your opinion. Who would win? Prime Nets big three or prime Miami Heat big three? Clarence, who you got?
Man, look, I respect Chris Bosh. He's a future Hall of Fame, a two-time NBA Finals back-to-back to the Miami Heat. But I respectfully disagree with this damn statement.
Okay.
Because he's saying prime Nets is better than prime Heat. Like, when you talk about prime, they're pairing up together. And the result that they had in this playoffs, they don't stand a chance with this prime Heat. Because LeBron James and Miami trade was on another level. D Wade was still playing at the top at the best level, and Chris Bosh as well too. His numbers probably don't reflect it though, but his impact to the game was a lot. And this prime Nets team, they've been dealing with injuries all through the season. This Heat team, who had the most injuries out of them?
But we're talking about both teams being healthy. On a neutral floor.
Oh no, I'm just
both teams being healthy. Prime Nets, prime Heat. Who you got?
Man, I got the prime Heat, man. LeBron James with the Heat, he was unstoppable. He was on a different force. When he teamed up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, you seen a different side of LeBron. I think KD is solid. He's a great scorer. James Harden is a good one though. And Kyrie. But if they're in their prime and injuries involved, included too though, I got prime Heat. LeBron James, in regards to KD, he's one of the greatest scorers I've ever seen, since I've been watching basketball, but he doesn't stand a chance against prime Fauna, especially in Miami.
Ooh, man, I disagree with you here, and I agree with Chris Bosh. I'm taking the Nets big three over the Heat big three because I'm looking at, Kevin Durant, LeBron in their prime. I think Kevin Durant and LeBron cancel each other out. Like, I think as great as LeBron is as a facilitator, Kevin Durant could drop 40 on anybody. Okay? So I think they cancel each other out. So then we go to the second best players on each team. Now we're comparing Dwayne Wade and James Harden. I believe once LeBron went to Miami, Dwayne Wade wasn't the same player, Clarence. He was still a great closer. But every year when LeBron was in Miami, Dwayne Wade, statistically, his numbers went down. So I think Dwayne Wade wasn't in his prime anymore once LeBron went to Miami. And I think that's part of the reason why they went 2-2, during their era of the big three. Instead of going, 3-1 or 4-0, they went 2-2. And I think that was in partial because Dwayne Wade wasn't the same Dwayne Wade like he was back in 06 when Miami beat Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks and winning the championship with Shaq on that team. But James Harden, I'm taking him over, Dwayne Wade. Right now, this James Harden, listen, Dwayne Wade in his career is better than James Harden. I think Dwayne Wade is the third greatest shooting guard of all time. Behind MJ and Kobe, I think it's Dwayne Wade.
But you can make that argument that James Harden is probably a better scorer than Wade.
It's close. It's close.
It's real close.
But Dwayne Wade significantly more clutch than James Harden. Way more clutch. Like, Dwayne Wade's
I thought we seen James Harden hit some clutch shots.
Wade is a closer. Dwayne Wade is a closer.
Yeah, he's a closer for sure.
Yeah, like Flash is a closer, but I feel like Dwayne Wade, when LeBron was in Miami, again, he wasn't the same player that he once was. So I'm gonna take James Harden, in his prime over Dwayne Wade at this moment, with their big three at that time. And then you get to the third best players on each team. Kyrie Irving, he's a showstopper. He's the most entertaining player in the NBA. I think when you talk about being the most skillful player of all time, I compare Kyrie Irving to Steph Curry. I compare him to Allen Iverson. Kyrie Irving deserves to be in that conversation. And I think Kyrie Irving also is a closer. When games are close in playoff games, Kyrie Irving is a closer. He has that Mamba mentality. R.I.P. to Kobe, but he taught Kyrie how to be a closer, how to have that Mamba mentality in playoff games. So, and I love Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was a perennial all-star. We saw him get the Toronto Raptors teams, to the postseason a few times. When he was in Toronto, we saw him be the number one option on a playoff contender in the Toronto Raptors. But I don't think Chris Bosh is the caliber of player that Kyrie is. I think Kyrie has reached levels that Chris Bosh just didn't get to, especially when he was in Miami. Now, you can say that could be because LeBron is dominating the ball, but I don't think Chris Bosh was the same player that he was in Miami as he was when he was in Toronto.
Well,
all of that put together, I'm taking the Nets big three over the Heat big three in their prime.
You gotta understand, that prime Heat team, LeBron James was making all first or second defensive teams. So his defense was ecstatic there. Wade was good at closing out. And at some point, he was leading the league in fourth quarter points.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh was an excellent rebounder, excellent offensive rebounder. So
Certainly.
Yeah, when you take if you would have switched out Toronto Chris Bosh with Miami Chris Bosh, I think, man, that Heat would have won three, they would have had a 3-peat. But he took the back row for Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, especially LeBron James, because at that moment in his career, Bosh was a better scorer than Wade, in my opinion, because I felt like he could have been like the second leading scorer though, but they had to give it to Wade and all that. But Bosh was really a dog. He can really ball for real.
Yeah, he can.
And I think like
and he don't get enough credit for those two championships that LeBron won in Miami.
Yeah, he doesn't it just get thrown under the rug. But in reality, man, dude was important. But man, prime Heat was different, man. Bron was hitting threes. Wade was, throwing oops to him. Any three that he shot up, Bosh was getting a rebound trade. I just think on the defensive side, man, that Nets team again.
And I think I agree with that. No, I agree with that. But I also was gonna say too. Remember in I believe it was the 2013 NBA Finals when the San Antonio Spurs and Kawhi Leonard, he was young.
Yeah.
Greg Popovich, Ginobili, Parker, Duncan. They had a chance to win a championship that year.
Yeah.
And you remember they were trailing in the fourth quarter. I believe the people in Miami at American Airlines Arena, they had closed off, the stadium, because they had the trophy presentation ready for the Spurs.
I remember that.
They had it ready.
Oh,
and
man.
you're right about Chris Bosh not getting enough credit for those two championships that Miami won, because everybody talking about Ray Allen's great shot that he hit, that tied the game up and sent it to overtime.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for Chris Bosh's offensive rebound, Ray Allen don't get an opportunity to hit that shot.
Spurs coming to win it.
And I believe that was the greatest shot in NBA history that I've ever seen. Like, as great as Kyrie Irving's shot was in Game 7, as great as Kyrie Irving's shot was in Game 7, the 2016 NBA Finals, as great as MJ's shot was over Brian Russell and the Utah Jazz, I think Ray Allen's shot was greater than both of those.
Oh, wow.
The magnitude. If he missed the shot, the game's over, fellas. Like, come on. If Ray Allen missed, game over.
Okay, go ahead.
Spurs win the championship.
Okay.
So I think when you talk about the magnitude, if Kyrie would have missed that shot against Golden State, I feel like the Cavs and the Warriors, they would have went to overtime. We don't know what would have happened. But I think
down one, was they?
No, it was tied. When Kyrie hit that shot over Steph, they were tied. So I think given the magnitude, that was the greatest shot in NBA history. Ray Allen hit that shot, but it doesn't happen without Chris Bosh. I want to stay on topic. It doesn't happen without Chris Bosh. And again, I think sometimes when players play with LeBron, even though when you play with LeBron, you have an opportunity to win a championship, you're not the same player that you were before you team up with LeBron. Because it happened to Chris Bosh, and it happened to Kevin Love in Cleveland too. When Kevin Love went to Cleveland, I'm going to be honest, there were times where I used to watch Cavs games, I'm looking at Kyrie, I'm looking at LeBron ball out, and I see Kevin Love, and I'm like, well, he's just a good role player at this point.
That's how I viewed him as. Like, when Kyrie and LeBron was on their game, Kevin Love
was a good role player.
He wasn't even a Chris Bosh level. That's how
he wasn't.
That's how I looked at Chris Bosh was better than Kevin Love, man. And Kevin Love and Chris Bosh got more out of Bosh than Love.
But I'm not gonna take nothing away from Kevin Love. I think Kevin Love could still play, and I think he had an important part in that Cavaliers championship.
Yeah,
he had an important part in that championship. I think after Kyrie hit his shot, if you remember, the Warriors were down by 3. So Steph and Klay trying to get a 3. Remember, but Kevin Love, I think down the stretch in that game, he played some great defense on Steph. He was out there fighting for his life. He wasn't trying to let Steph get off at all.
I know what you're talking about. He definitely was his eyes was focused on him.
Focused on Steph. Steph couldn't get a shot.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He closed out for him.
But like I said, I just think overall, this Brooklyn Nets big three, especially offensively, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this team as far as being able to score. Like the Golden State Warriors, as great as Golden State was, it was a lot of catch and shoot. Klay Thompson is a catch and shoot. He's not the kind of player that can create off the dribble like Kyrie Irving, like James Harden. Like James Harden and Kyrie Irving are two of the best scorers at being able to create off the dribble. We haven't seen anything like the Brooklyn Nets team when it comes to from a scoring perspective. Kevin Durant, obviously 6'11" with a 7'5" wingspan. The most gifted player in NBA history because we've never seen anything like Kevin Durant. He moves. And I think when you talk about greatest scorers in NBA history, Kevin, at the shooting guard position, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, MJ. James Harden deserves to be in that conversation. James Harden is an incredible scorer, so I just think this Brooklyn Nets team, from a scoring perspective, is the greatest team I've ever seen assembled, and that's including the Golden State Warriors.
I like that assembled though, but defensively, man, they get killed. Look,
I'm talking about offense.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say, I played the Nets last night, man. My dude dropped a career high on them boys. Man.
Yeah, me, you, and Ashton and Raquel go out there and score on the Nets team.
And Raquel probably had like 20 points.